TG Geeks, episode 267, March 30th, 2020. Another week of us. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geek-dom and Nerd-ery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre. You name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in isolation in Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also coming to you from an area where we are, I think I said this last week, self-imposed for the good of the realm here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes, and let's just get on with the show here.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the two gay geeks are discussing this.
Well, in this episode, we don't have an interview. Things kind of dried up since the whole shelter-in-place in most of the country has taken effect.
We'll be talking. I think we'll be talking a little bit more about that since this new Black Plague has descended upon us.
We're going to talk about the season finale of Picard, and the rest of the season will try to be as non-spoilery as we can, but just beware.
Beware, we probably won't.
Yep, exactly. And we're going to talk about the state of film festivals as it stands right now, and the arts in isolation, and what that means.
Oh,
exactly.
something really interesting.
Some exciting stuff, yeah. Birthday shout-outs, and then we'll have our featured podcast of the week and everybody's favorite feedback. We got a little bit of feedback this week. A few shout-outs. In our second segment, Ben is going to talk about several books that he's written.
Yes,
and
I wrote these.
Several books
that I have read.
Sorry. Yes, I didn't know you wrote several books.
I know. I was doing it late at night.
And the universe that all of these books exist in. So it's kind of a fascinating little story. And then we'll do our weekly recap and our regular shout outs. So let's just get down to it. Well,
yeah, we just had the season finale for Picard.
Oh my!
It would be nice to kind of stay away from spoilers because I know that while most of the world has seen it, I know there are some people who have not.
People have not.
They were deliberately waiting. I know some people have decided that they wanted to completely hold off until the entire series was through. Or at least this entire first season was done, so I could just mainline all the way through it, binge it all in one sitting, which might not necessarily be a bad idea.
Yeah.
So, but with that, and I think we can. This is a nice, safe conversation to have. It's safe to say that you liked the finale.
I did. I liked the finale. I know there's people that haven't. I've seen posts on Facebook that people that didn't like it. Or
do they not like this season at all?
Well, that too. But then there's others that had, like Bill, he had lots of questions or unanswered questions.
Oh, did Bill have more unanswered questions from this episode?
Lots of unanswered questions.
Oh, dear, I haven't seen those. I guess I need to talk to him.
You need to go look at his timeline. Because He did post several unanswered questions, and they're very valid questions. But...
Well, he did the same thing for part one of the finale, and I came in and I answered those to the best of my ability, and I guess that satisfied him because he didn't respond.
Right.
But no, I didn't know
he was just tired of responding.
Or I was like, oh, God, how can I get this stupid Star Trek geek to shut up?
You don't.
Yeah, because I am that nerd. Beware, people.
Yes.
So he's probably, I don't know, I haven't seen what he has to say about this last episode, but be that as it may, coming into it, we each had certain ideas as to where we thought this was going to go. what were some of your ideas? And I should point out that we were wrong 100%.
Yeah,
we were so wrong in our guesses. So I think it's safe to share what those guesses are.
At this point, I don't remember what I was thinking of.
Well, you were thinking Borg.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. But that was something else. And it seemed like the natural progression in certain things, and that there might be a meeting of the minds on the Borg or something like that. Especially when you see that Jerry Ryan's going to make an appearance in the season and whatnot like that.
And the whole time that was spent on the Borg cube.
Exactly.
I mean, it almost feels like that might have been considered a bit of a throwaway in retrospect now. But who's to say that won't play a role later on?
Exactly. And I had suspected, and I'm trying to not be spoilery, but that the Borg would play a part in this. And I mean, they did to a very small extent. But it was interesting the way that whole thing was played. And then the whole Romulan thing with the Borg and the Federation and all of that, and it is a bit
murky.
Yeah, and as well as Picard, and he, obviously in the first episode we find out exactly why he left the Federation, or
he spells it out.
Yeah, he retired or whatever. So I thought it was a very satisfying ending to this first season. Kind of unusual, but it kind of got foreshadowed in the penultimate episode.
It was, wasn't it?
Big time. Yeah, it was like this gigantic
this
pink
has
elephant with a smoking gun in its hand.
Yes, because we've got this situation here, and because we've been introduced to this, there's only one possible resolution, and on that aspect, we were both right.
Yeah, exactly. So I liked it a lot. So what did you have coming into?
I kept flipping back and forth. At one point, I actually had the theory that it was going to be the Borg, but something completely different. Like maybe at some point in the Delta Quadrant, the Borg did a technological evolutionary split.
Yeah, well,
and that what we had been seeing as the Borg all this time was sort of like the dark side underbelly of what this more advanced, evolved, better species of life might have become, and that was the race that the admonition was referring to.
Right.
Ha. Yeah, well, major wrong on that one. That never came to happen.
And the possibility, they don't really address what has happened to the Borg, other than the fact that this cube is separated from the collective. But that's the only thing that you hear about the collective.
Yeah, we're not really hearing a lot.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if when Hugh went back, he didn't insert a bit of humanity.
Well, certainly with that part,
or his sensibilities, shall we say,
right,
because they're all,
and this
humanoid.
This does kind of beg some really weird explanation, because we had been led to believe, sort of midway through Next Generation, that if a Borg gets cut off from the collective as a whole, it kind of self-destructs. So now we've got, Borg, Hugh's cube, or the Borg that he's now a part of, and they're completely cut off.
Yep.
From the rest of the collective, but then
7 of 9 is cut off, and each of is cut off.
Well, but they were
children, though.
Well, but more than that, I think they were actually rescued from the collective.
Right.
They were pulled away. I have more of questions as to what is the nature of this one Borg cube that the Romulans have,
right?
And what I'd like to really know is, when did it happen?
Exactly.
Did it happen at the same time Janeway decided to make her great escape in the finale of Voyager?
This is true, and that's a good question. And did that also coincide with the events of Insurrection?
Ooh.
You know, and because of the imploding of the Romulan.
That's not insurrection. No, that was
Nemesis.
Well,
Nemissary, as we call it.
Nemesis. Well, that's when the Remans started to come to power. But a better question is, does that actually coincide with the event? And it kind of sort of does for the first JJ movie,
right?
When we first, when Spock starts talking about the Romulan sun that's about to go kablooey.
Well, that's true.
So there's a lot of timeline issues that are very much at play here.
Wibbly wobbly.
Very wibbly wobbly. And instead of answering those, they actually kind of left a gigantic, weird elephant in the room.
Yeah.
By giving us a brief glimpse of something that kind of shocked the heck out of me.
They satisfied the smoking gun, but they left the elephant in the room that was holding it.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I can give you that one. But other than that, I found it to be highly satisfying and very, very emotional. And the one thing that I really liked about this series is they were able to cover a lot of ground in storytelling in just a short period of time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's each episode. I mean, because we've got the CBS Plus, which means no commercials. So when we see it, it comes in under 50 minutes,
right,
for us. And I was absolutely amazed that when we came into part 2 of this finale, that they were actually able to cover pretty much all of the necessary points,
right,
and deliver a satisfying story, and not have the audience feel shortchanged. I didn't feel shortchanged at all.
Well, and you talk about that, and the thing that some people have not liked about the this season of Picard and Picard in general. Is Siri activating again?
Siri's activating again.
Oh, stop. Go away.
Yeah. You've got your own AI problems.
Jesus. I don't understand.
Oh, now that was me this time.
Well, and then my iPad.
What the heck?
I don't know what the heck is going on. Siri just keeps activating all of a sudden.
So is mine.
And your watch activated?
Yeah.
And my iPad
Siri,
activated?
my watch is activated. I don't know what the heck is going on, but that's kind of scary.
Yeah, she's not listening all the time. Yeah,
no, she's not. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we definitely got our own AI issues going on here, people.
Exactly.
Our AI overlords are about to take over. They're sick and tired of seeing us, kind of.
You're messing this up.
You're messing this whole thing up, people. Yeah. Anyway, moving on, about the series itself.
So, I read. It was a very misleading headline to an article to an interview with Michael Chabon.
Oh, really?
Who was the showrunner for this, and it said that this series of Picard has been divisive. Well, yeah, and then there was really nothing in the article except that it's divisive in the sense that most people, Star Trek watchers, shall we say, are accustomed to each episode being a story in itself and being wrapped up in the single hour or 2 hours that they have, and only those two-parters were season to season, and instead of having this overarching arc for the entire season, and that seems to be the divisive part of it. Now, granted, yes, it's an interesting thing, but we have become such an arc-heavy watching audience at this point for so many different things. I mean, Babylon 5 was you talk about major arc.
It's the one that kind of set the stage. It set the stage. It put us on the path for where we are today with television shows.
Right.
So yeah, I agree completely, and I have to eat some humble pie here. Because I remember when we had the first season of Discovery, I was making the same complaint. And
true.
And I was very vocal about it. But then we had the second season of Discovery, which was sort of different. I mean, they still had the overall...
There were lots of things in season 1 that kind of...
Well, let me I'll get to that in a moment. The thing that I noticed with season 2 and why I felt like I wasn't wrong in my initial assessment is that even though they still had this overarching theme, each episode still felt like it could stand on its own. And I think that was a deliberate attempt, perhaps. Now we get to Picard, and now there's no question about it. Each episode is linked heavily.
Right.
And as I read in an interview with Michael Chabon, and I remember reading the same thing when it came to Discovery, and that is, don't think of each of these episodes in a procedural, episodic, standalone manner. Instead, think of the entire season as a book with each episode serving as a chapter.
Yep.
And that's a really good analysis, a very good analogy. The difference that I have this time, and again, I will eat my words, I was wrong when it came to, I really, like I haven't been wrong before.
This is the first time this year.
No, it's the first time maybe within the last 5 minutes that I was wrong about something. But with Discovery, the reason I had such a problem with it, and I was pointing a finger at the fact that they were all very much connected. It wasn't that. It's that it was bad writing.
Right.
Pure and simple. It was really bad writing.
And they really messed with the canon a lot.
Oh, it was just egregious.
Egregious and just almost intentional.
It was very deliberate.
Yeah. So
now that was my big problem. And now we've got the absolute opposite. And I've been saying many times that what Star Trek Picard is in its first season, Discovery was not.
Right.
I mean, Picard I thought was brilliant. You and I have been saying this from the very first episode. These people, especially Michael Chabon, the man is a geek. He is a Trek nerd.
He is. I mean, you just look at him and you say, oh my God, he is such a nerd.
He is such a Trek nerd. And the man clearly has such love for this franchise that every episode, in some fashion or another, is a love letter.
Right. And we watched the Ready Room afterwards with Will Wheaton. And there were some really wonderful things that he talked to various people on the show. And then they had little clips of different people, the head of this and the head of that and the head of the other things. And one of the guys I remember, he said it was very important that they got the props right.
Oh, yes.
And that they looked back at all Star Trek to make sure that they got it right. Mm-hmm. And so that is what really set this series apart, is that it felt like Star Trek. It has that feel. It has the look. They have researched everything, and they have written in the Star Trek universe that we all know and love.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because there was something that happened with the first season of Discovery that I was also highly offended with, and that is this entire attitude that we were seeing regarding Starfleet, the Federation. It did not feel like Star Trek to me, because that was a world that I did not recognize. And I'm not talking about the Enterprise. I'm not talking about Kirk. I'm not talking about Spock. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about if the universe of Star Trek really existed, it should look and feel like this no matter where you went.
Exactly.
And we weren't getting that. And one of the big complaints that I saw with Picard is people were saying, oh my God, it's so dark, and this is not Star Trek, this is not this, everything is wrong. There's a complete disrespect for all these different cultures. And I'm like, hang on a minute. They are being self-referential to a point. I mean, now you've got, yes, all these things are taking place in this universe, but you've got the outsider. You've got Picard, who's now pointing a finger at it and saying, you are wrong.
Right. Because they've had their apocalyptic moment as well.
Yeah. They did. Picard is now standing back saying, this is not what Starfleet, this is not what the Federation is supposed to represent.
And he's saying it, and that's why it looks the way it does.
Right. Because he's the one who's carrying the torch for everything that we've come to know and love in the Star Trek universe from the original series, Next Generation, and even Deep Space Nine, there was a certain aspect to what Starfleet and the Federation meant. Right. And Picard is now holding that torch, saying, I will be the torchbearer in this darkness.
But it's not that we've always done it this way attitude.
Right.
It's like,
now we're doing it this way.
You're not holding to the ideals of what Starfleet
precisely
and the Federation actually believes. And that,
right.
So.
And even Picard says it in the first episode during an interview. He says, because it's not Starfleet anymore.
Right.
Anymore.
Right. It's not the Federation.
It's not the Federation. I mean, everything has changed, and he recognizes that, which is why he felt a need to retire. Yeah. So the story is still carrying on, I think, the spirit of Star Trek. You just have to look to Picard for it.
Right.
And he's the one who's going to share that message. And I think by the time we get to this final episode, everybody who Picard has surrounded himself with is a firm believer of it.
Right.
Maybe they were a firm believer of it at one time and they lost faith.
Yeah.
But now they're a firm believer of it again because they recognize that Picard was right. And I think that message is going to resonate into, well, I don't know if it'll resonate into the next season or not, but I still have this belief that the world that Starfleet has become is going to play a part in this upcoming season of Discovery. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But no, I think Picard was absolutely brilliant, and I'm really, really curious to see what season 2 is going to bring us.
Absolutely, I am too. We have to wait a whole year.
I know, but at least
or maybe even longer at this point.
Perhaps. Oh, don't even say that.
I know.
They were already into pre-production, but you're right. They're probably going to have to postpone.
Yep.
But we do have a completed season of Discovery coming up, which will be very interesting to see if it does tie in with Picard.
Exactly. So that was Picard. Now we're talking about the state of film festivals in light of the isolation that most of the country is sort of adopting. I mean, certain places are not. But,
festivals.
Most places have adopted a stay at home and stay safe to flatten the curve. So that means, as we experience firsthand, the Museum of Art closed. The Museum of Natural History closed, the Museum of Modern Art closed,
all the museums closed, the opera closed,
then the opera
Broadway closed.
and Broadway closed, and now the whole city is closed.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of event,
New York City,
any kind of special event, or even a regular event that encourages mass gathering of people, off the table, not happening anymore.
And it's not just here; it's across the world.
Yeah, it's all over the world.
So a lot of organizations, whether it's the Met or, and interesting that they're playing on the Met Opera website. They're playing some of the things that we have already on the Met Player.
Right.
I keep looking to see if there's something that's
new,
not on the Met Player that they might run out there and say, here you go. This
Akhenaten, please. Akhenaten.
Please. Yes, I want to see it again.
Satyagraha.
Exactly.
The collective works of Philip Glass, please.
There we go. Yes, plan one after the other.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
But so the interesting thing is that a lot of arts organizations and a lot of individual artists, whether it's painters or, are doing art online. Comic book artists are doing art online.
Yeah.
And musicians are doing art online. Whether it's a piano player or whether it's a singer,
right? And we'll delve into further detail about that in a little bit. But you're right. So now
I'm sorry, we're talking about arts in isolation. Sorry.
Yeah,
we'll talk about film festivals in a moment.
Yes.
So let's back up and talk about film
festivals. Yes.
Well, I kind of got confused.
But it's all tied in. It's all part of the same thing. Because a lot of film festivals are now being canceled. Phoenix Film Festival, which is one of the largest and most attended in the world.
Yep.
has been canceled, and poor Jason Carney, who's one of the big head honchos behind it. I mean, he's been shouting out expletives.
Yep.
All along because he's just livid with the fact that this happened.
Well, and I think the first big one was South by Southwest.
Yeah,
canceled.
that was the first big one.
So that one, that one's a big prestigious event, and people are there, and so they're thinking about
Cannes got canceled.
And Cannes got, oh my God!
Oh, that's a serious
thing. So they're contemplating, and in some spots they are doing an online film festival, and I think that unfortunately might be where film festivals kind of go. I know that we're going to try. I'm going to try to get a hold of Miguel and Rodriguez, who's Horrible Imaginings. And
because he
get
definitely
him on the show to talk about this.
Right, he definitely has
he's
something
not
to say.
Upset. I mean, he is.
Oh, he's very upset. Yeah,
about the film festivals and all that, and he's probably going to have to cancel his, which is the 1st of September. So it's interesting. I'm kind of torn whether it should be online. I understand what he's saying in it's having people in the house, getting people's reactions, the filmmakers seeing people's reactions, the being able to hear the filmmakers talk about their film, just all of those things. And it's that moment, and that's why film festivals are so popular, and you get to see a lot of great films.
Yeah.
But also on the other side, a film festival online, I mean, you could, if you did a pick and choose, you could,
which
price
is not
them
too
out.
dissimilar from a regular film festival as it is anywhere like Phoenix. I mean, we pick and choose which blocks we wanted to see, which features we wanted to see.
Exactly. Or if you wanted to see them all, and the way Horrible Imagining is traditionally done, it's one screen and they show all the films. So it's one after the other, after the other, after the other.
I don't know if they were still doing that. I
think there was 2 different screens.
Yeah,
at the
I
Frida.
think when they moved to was it Santa Ana?
The Frida Cinema, yeah.
Right. I think they then started splitting the blocks so that people could choose one or the other. But when they were at MoMA in San Diego, I mean, you sat in one theater and you saw everything in one sitting, and boy, do we know.
Yep. So it was. It's interesting how I think it's going, but I would like to get Jason on, and I'd like to get Miguel on, and talk to them both about where they think it's going, and also Patricia Chica, because she has,
but she's got
she's
a
kind of
very interesting position,
kind of coming, and so
and she's in a very interesting position because now she's not only is she an up and coming filmmaker in her own right. I mean, to the point where she is now. Her work is being seriously recognized.
Yeah. But
which
she's
is
also
great. But she's a PR person.
But she's been in the PR world too, so she has the best of both worlds.
Right.
And she's seen a lot of those things. And how do you market, in the world with no film festivals? How do you market your films, and how do you get them out there?
And I'm not sure, but I think one of Miguel's biggest fears is that if we did go to an online platform, that there'd be no pulling back from that once once this entire nightmare of ours is over.
Well,
can we return to a previous way of showing film festivals?
I think that you could have the film festival on its regular scheduled time, but also then after the fact have the online film festival of maybe best of or something like that. Not maybe necessarily have the entire film festival online, because that kind of defeats. You want people to come in for the film festival at that point. So I mean, there's lots of options. I think.
I think there's also something else. It just occurred to me that if you're in a theater at a film festival, I think there's a tendency to be more attentive to what you're watching, as opposed to if you're just watching it on the web.
And we can't forget the Greasy Strangler.
Oh my God. That's a great point.
That one is a Don't watch that at home
can't-
by
no,
yourself
it
or
has to be
just
seen
your
in a group.
spouse. You have to see it in a group of probably 6 or more.
At least because
At least. Because
lot
that
of-
movie is just such a trip.
it is, and I think that's an excellent point. Is that a lot of these movies, and you're not the only person to say that. I have read other film critics.
It's a community
It is.
experience.
A lot of other film critics have said that one of the great things about going to a theater versus watching a movie at home is that it's a collective experience.
Well, just remember we watched, what was it, Monsters, Inc., and then before that is For the Birds. Mm-hmm. And that collective
Oh, my goodness.
eruption of laughter.
Yeah, when we saw, we got to see, it was opening night for Monsters, Inc., and in Hollywood.
Yeah, at the El Capitan.
At the El Capitan, and they ran For the Birds just before it, and there's this one physical gag that, I mean, the movie's kind of cute, the short's cute, and you're kind of chuckling here or there and whatever, but then there was this one there was one gag, and
you see everybody gasp
And
because
then
they realize what's coming, and then all of a sudden it happens, and you go, ah!
the entire audience is in hysterics. But and another case, another one that I remember is we were at a screening for the Downton Abbey movie,
Right.
and there's one hilarious moment committed by one of the butlers.
Right.
When he's trying to serve food, and he's behaving in such a stupid way, and one person kind of went as he's trying to stifle a laugh, and then everybody in the theater was in hysterics at that point. It's a shared experience.
Exactly.
So there is
yeah.
something to be said. Definitely, that is the positive about being at a film festival, because some movies need to be shared with other people as you're watching it, as opposed to just sitting it with you and your spouse or just a couple members of your family.
Exactly. So we're going to try to get Miguel and Patricia and Jason on the show, and
I would
talk about
love to
film
get their
festival.
takes on this. Yeah.
Because I think that it's important to know how they're feeling, or what their plans are, or how they plan to proceed, and and just get their feelings on it.
Absolutely.
So now back to the arts in isolation.
This is really important, because in spite of everything that has been going on,
museums are doing online.
Yeah. But here's the thing that really cracks me up. For a while, we started to see this backlash regarding social media. We were seeing critics of people, criticizing Facebook, criticizing Twitter, saying that people just
criticize Facebook.
Well, but not for this reason. No, I criticize it because it's just a lousy platform. But people were saying, we're not socializing with each other anymore. We're not a community anymore. We are hiding behind an electronic device. We are anonymous with each other. We're not reaching out. I mean, now we're just ciphers through the intertubes. But now we're seeing the flip side, a very positive flip side, happen because of this.
A lot of organizations, they're doing Facebook Live videos, and it really is kind of neat, because they have a whole community of people. If they announce when it's going to be, and they publicize it, then they can have a whole group of people. It's kind of like what Madame Askew and the Grand Arbiter do with their tea.
Who knew that those
this
live Facebook moments would actually transform our community now
into something that can be shared by other people. And a perfect example of this was when Arizona Opera, in conjunction with Christopher Cano and Jennifer Johnson Cano, his wife. She's a mezzo-soprano.
Met opera singer, by the way.
Met opera singer. And Christopher is a fabulous pianist. And they did a concert from their living room.
It was wonderful.
It was wonderful. It brought tears to my eyes.
There were moments that I was seriously moved by it, and I was reading the comments as they were going by it. Everybody was deeply touched by this.
A lot of people were watching. I mean, it was incredible how many people watched. And we had run a little article about that they were doing it on Friday. And then I almost forgot to tune in. I tuned in 30 seconds late.
Yeah.
But it was a really great concert. But that's the type of thing, is you get to when you're kind of involved as we are with Arizona Opera, and we know everybody, and to see those people online and to see them interact with other people that are opera lovers and Arizona opera lovers, it was really kind of neat. And Clint Berzoni was watching.
Oh, I didn't know Clint was.
Clint was out there, and I think John was out there, and
oh, I didn't know that Clint and John were watching.
several
that's
other
wonderful.
people, yeah.
I know that a number of people from Arizona Opera themselves were watching. Logan
Logan
and his husband Kevin were watching.
And
of course, Joseph
Zach.
was watching, and Zach.
and Ashley, and just a number of people. So it was really kind of neat to see all those people and know that they're okay.
And here is where the internet was able to bring together a community. And even though I mean, I would love to see Logan and Kevin again. I would love to see Ashley again. I would love to see Clint and John again. However, being the fact that we could watch this all at the same time because it was a live event, we could all comment on it. It still, in its own weird digital way, still created for a shared experience.
Exactly.
And that was wonderful. You know, it was nice to know that, you know, Logan was crying. He was so moved by much of what he was hearing, as was I. And we were both able to acknowledge that. So, yeah, there was something really wonderful about that. But what I love is that it's really branching out. And there are other artists in all different genres now that are going to be doing this. I just got an announcement that Metallica is going to do a live concert Monday.
Yeah, and your brother has been doing
my brother's been doing some live Facebook.
Pieces.
Yeah, he's been doing some piano bits as well. So there are so many different artists in all different genres and forms that are coming together to say, okay, you know, maybe I'm not going to make a dime off this, but you know, it's not about the money. It's about reaching out to the people because
and community and
because we all feel cut off.
Exactly.
And now artists are stepping up and saying, you know, we're going to bring you all together. It'll be through the internet, but we're still going to bring you all together, and we're going to provide you with entertainment that you otherwise would be denied of because we're cut off.
Exactly.
So I think there is some positive that has come out of this really dark time that we're in right now.
Very interesting times we live in.
This is Patrick Morganelli, composer of Hercules vs. Vampires, and I am a guest today on the show of the Two Gay Geeks.
I still like that move, that hybrid.
I do too. I thought it was brilliant. So, what the heck? Oh my God!
Did your script get all messed up?
I'm having problems with my script today. Anyway,
serious playing.
Okay. Stop.
I shouldn't say that, should I?
Gee, many Christmas. Yeah.
Okay, the AI that shall not be named.
Exactly. She's baiting me. Here's a few selected birthdays for March 30th through April 5th, 2020. March 30th, Vincent van Gogh, painter. He was a contemporary of Gauguin. And in a span of 10 years,
how much did he do?
The last 10 years of his life. He died at 37, I think.
I know, he was so
insane. He was and never really got into, I mean, he did when he was a kid, but he created 2,100 art pieces, including 860 oil paintings, most of which date from the last 2 years of his life. Interesting thing is that Starry Night is on display. Guess where?
The Metropolitan
Museum of Modern Art. The Museum of Modern Art that we didn't get to.
We never got to MoMA.
I know.
Oh, now I'm really upset we didn't make it.
I am too.
Well, we would have.
I would love to have seen that piece.
We
would
have
have
made
cried.
it. I know, I would have too. We would have made it to MoMA, except...
Yeah. Anyway. And also Eric Clapton. He's 75.
1/3 of Cream.
Exactly. He is the only 3-time inductee in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No way.
The Yardbirds, Cream, and his solo career.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay.
And he played both Fender and Gibson Les Paul guitars.
I never saw him play Gibson. I've always seen him play Fender.
Yeah, he was kind of fond of his Les Pauls.
Very well.
Yeah. He founded a center for recovering addicts in 1998. And he was, as you said, part of Cream. Kind of, I think, was that where... He played with everybody too.
Oh, he did
my God.
I mean, he played with Phil Collins. He played with everybody. I mean, the relationship that Eric had with the Beatles is legendary, especially George Harrison's wife.
Yep. Oh dear. Then we have Warren Beatty, actor. Dick Tracy, Heaven Can Wait.
Right. Brother to Shirley MacLaine.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I didn't see that.
And Shirley MacLaine and Warren Beatty are siblings.
Oh, interesting. So, why is she McLean and he's Beatty?
You'd have to ask her. Maybe she took a name from a previous incarnation.
Who knows? Yes. John Aston, actor.
Gomez Adams.
Sean adopted him as his father. And took his last name. So
okay.
Gomez Adams. Lots of other TV. Oh my gosh. Cameo roles on everything.
I loved him in Night Court.
Yep. He was in a episode of the original series.
The original series?
Yes. He was the voice of Captain John Daly in Conscience of the King.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, now
I thought that was
not one of my favorite episodes, but now I need to watch it again just so I can hear it.
And then the Night Gallery episodes.
Oh, I love that Night Gallery episode. It's so funny.
And then he was on Batman 66, too.
He actually played Riddler.
Yes, 2 episodes.
Yeah, I remember that. And I thought, he's not Riddler.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have Francisco Goya, painter. He was a Spanish painter, late 18th and early 19th century, said to be the last of the old masters and the first of the modern. Also said to be one of the greatest portraitists of all time. Some of his work is just fascinating. It's really fascinating. And then we have Ingvar Kamprad, Mr. IKEA.
Okay. Enough said.
He was Swedish, but he lived in Switzerland for years and years and years and incorporated IKEA in Denmark. It was gigantic. And all of his wealth was in the corporation. Although I'm sure he had a handsome salary, but he was the owner of the corporation. So, but he was, let's see, in 2006, his charitable foundation was the wealthiest until Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation eclipsed that. Bit of an eccentric.
Really?
Yes, he pocketed the salt and pepper packets when he went to restaurants. He would go to IKEA for a cheap meal, and he recycled tea bags. He died at age of 91 in 2018. Then we have Jethro Tull.
Not the band.
Not the band.
The
English agriculturalist pioneer.
Yes.
And then we have Celine Dion, singer, and Paul Reiser, actor.
Mad About You.
Mad About You. The Thanksgiving episode.
Oh, my God.
The reason we're always saying it's a fact.
It's a fact. It's from that episode.
It's from that episode because Jamie's father says...
he would say something ridiculous and then say, it's a fact.
It's a fact. Nobody buys ice. It's a fact.
You know,
or nobody makes ice. Or buys ice. Yeah, buys ice.
Yeah, regarding Sherry Lewis. You know, she's Jerry Lewis's sister. It's a fact.
Wife.
Oh, wife?
Yes.
Oh.
Calling a plumber on Thanksgiving Day, it'll cost you $86.52 an hour.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. Yes.
You can't leave a turkey in a hallway in the middle of New York City.
It's a fact. Anyway, enough of that. Robbie Coltrane, actor, lots of bit parts in movies and lots of TV.
He actually has it's not even a cameo. It's like he's just there on the screen for a moment in Flash Gordon.
Yes,
the movie.
His credit is Guy at the Airport.
Yeah. Guy at the Airport would grow up to become Hagrid.
Exactly. And then we have Mark Davis. Mark Davis, oh my gosh. One of the 9 old men. He was an animator, Imagineer. He was literally the designer of what the Disneyland park looked like.
Oh, you mean the entire, just the layout of the place?
The layout. He's the one that you see the Disneyland map that they sell. That was Mark Davis's work. Because, Walt said he wanted it to be this and this and this and this, and then Mark went and did it.
Okay.
So he was actually the animator of Maleficent, a lot of different, and Snow White, and Cinderella, and Cruella de Vil. So several of those things. I mean, he was the lead animator on those specific characters, not like animator on the show, but animator of that characters. Also married to Alice Davis, who is another artist, Imagineer. March 31st. Oh, whoops.
Whoa.
Oh, no, I can't forget. Oh, my gosh. Can't forget Jocelyn Simone, a.k.a. Madame Askew. Happy birthday. And then Miguel Rodriguez. Happy birthday, Miguel. To both of you, yes. March 31st. Ewan McGregor, actor.
Maybe we will actually see him on the Disney Plus as Obi-Wan.
You never know.
Someday.
Star Wars, Moulin Rouge.
Well, there's supposed to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Interesting. And then several films in post right now.
Yeah.
And then Christopher Walken in A Winter Wonderland.
Oh, my goodness. Christopher Walken, who stole the movie in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, my God. He has been in a little bit of everything.
Oh, yeah.
He's been known to... it is said that he has never turned down a part.
I can believe it. But he really embraces the slightly odd roles.
Yes.
Because his part in Pulp Fiction is...
Oh, my God.
It is derailed. It's deranged.
Deranged.
It's totally deranged.
Yes.
The man is a loon in that movie. And this speech that he gives to this little kid about the kid's dead father, I mean... 3 minutes into it, and you can't help but just laugh hysterically because it's just so bizarre.
Yep. And then he actually studied dancing. He wanted to be a dancer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so one of the little things is you may not notice it, but he puts a little dance step in just about every scene that he does.
Well, I remember he did have a bit of a herky-jerky movement, but I didn't realize that's what it was.
Yeah. So he's also was the second choice for Han Solo.
Ooh.
Yep.
I don't think that would have worked.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I can't. No, I can't imitate him. But just trying to tell, have Christopher Walken tell Luke, flying through space, they'd like Dustin Crops, boy. Just somehow it just would seem more psychotic.
Yep, exactly. Psychotic Han Solo. Yeah, ooh. It could have been a whole different movie.
Yeah.
And then we have the big JSB, Johann Sebastian Bach, composer, widely regarded as the greatest composer of all time. Many children, I can't remember how many, 20 or so, by a couple of different wives.
Yeah. And
they were also musicians. Baroque and counterpoint are synonyms for Johann Sebastian Bach. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Cesar Chavez, civil rights activist, born in Yuma, national farm workers that became the United Farm Workers in the 70s, became very important to laborers' unions and through the work stoppages that he did and brought some actual humanity to the laborers in the fields, influenced by Gandhi. Franz Joseph Haydn, Austrian, spent most of his career as a court musician at the Esterházys at the remote estate. He was said that at their remote estate that it forced him to be original because he never heard any music from other composers. So he did a lot of experimental stuff.
That might be why Mozart admired Haydn so much.
Yep, he was the father of the symphony, father of the string quartet, and chamber music, a mentor to Mozart and tutor of Beethoven. He was, by Mozart, he was referred to as Papa Haydn.
Right.
And then Beethoven hated him.
Beethoven hated everybody.
Well, that's true. And then René Descartes, philosopher, mathematician, scientist, founder of the modern philosophy, Cartesian coordinate system, father of analytic geometry, and a key figure of the scientific revolution. You know, he walked into a bar one time, and the bartender said, have a beer? And he thinks, and Descartes says, I think not, and disappeared.
Right away.
Yes.
Ba-dum-bum.
Ba-dum-bum. Shirley Jones, actress, Oklahoma, Carousel, Mother Partridge.
Yes, Shirley Partridge.
Ed Catmull, computer scientist, invented a 2D software that came to the attention of George Lucas, who created a digital model of the X-Wing. In 1986, Steve Jobs bought the digital vision of Lucasfilm and called it Pixar, and the rest is history. April 1st, Asa Butterfield, actor.
Whoa, you've got David Emil Ruiz.
Oops. David Ruiz, yes, happy birthday. I'm looking at my other script there. April 1st, Asa Butterfield, actor, Ender's Game, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and Hugo. Mm-hmm. Debbie Reynolds, I forgot to put her on the...
yes, I'm like, I don't see her here.
Singing in the Rain, mother of Carrie Fisher. Sergei Rachmaninoff, composer, virtuoso pianist, influenced by Tchaikovsky and a whole bunch of people in that era. And his music was known to be broadly lyrical and passionate melodies. Moved to America in 1918 after the Russian Revolution and became an American citizen just before his death in 1943.
Didn't know that.
Grace Lee Whitney, actress.
Yeoman Janice Rand.
Janice Rand, exactly. Andreas Deja, an animator for Disney. He went to work in the 80s, yes. Animated several memorable villains, including Gaston, Jafar, and Scar. He also animated Roger Rabbit and Mama Odie in Princess and the Frog.
Oh,
he's an out gay man, which has influenced the way he approaches some of his characters. And he's a resident expert on Mickey Mouse animation at Disney right now.
Good.
Lon Chaney, actor, master of 1,000 Faces, started in 1912. By the end of 1950, and done about 50 shorts. And Hunchback in 1923 and Phantom of the Opera in 1925.
I think those are too big, especially Phantom.
April 2nd, Charlemagne, King Charles I, king of the Franks of the early Middle Ages, called the father of Western Europe, France, Spain, Italy, Eastern region that became Germany, and reigned for 47 years and died at 71 in 814 BC.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So to live to 71 during that period, wow.
You're Methuselah.
Yep. Marvin Gaye, singer-songwriter, Prince of Motown, Prince of Soul. How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. Heard It Through the Grapevine. What's Going On? Sexual Healing. Last TV appearance was on Soul Train.
Of course it was.
The day before his 45th birthday, his father shot him.
Yeah, that was big news.
Sir Alec Guinness, actor, Bridge on the River Kwai, Star Wars, did not like being referred to as Sir Alec.
He hated it.
Clark Gregg, actor, Coulson became a major character in a Marvel universe after being in the tag of a movie.
That's right. Well, no. He did appear periodically in the first Iron Man film. He did appear here and there, but it was just supposed to be like a one-shot thing. Who knew?
Yep. Hans Christian Andersen, Danish. The Andersen, E-N on the end, the Danish spelling, is writer of fairy tales. Buddy Ebsen, actor. Jed Clampett. He was the Tin Man, Wizard of Oz.
No, he wasn't.
Yes.
He was supposed to be.
Yes, he was supposed to be.
It was actually played by Jack Haley.
And the original makeup nearly killed him, and so he had to bow out.
He had to bow out of the part.
Right. That's right. I forgot about that. Linda Hunt, the actor.
Shout out to Mapes.
The housekeeper. And she's been on NCIS Los Angeles, 258 episodes.
I love her.
Oh, my God.
She's awesome.
Leon Russell, singer, musician. Virtually every music genre, including the Tulsa sound, 33 albums, went to Will Rogers High School in Tulsa alongside Anita Bryant, who was 2 years older, David Gates, and Elvin Bishop.
Wow.
They all went to Will Rogers High School. Jack Webb, actor, writer, creator of Dragnet, starred in both incarnations, created Adam 12, was in Sunset Boulevard. And Just the Facts, Ma'am, is his famed
fame line.
Barry Hansen, also known as Dr. Demento.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't realize that was his real name.
Started in 1970 KPPC in Los Angeles, noted as being bringing Weird Al to national attention.
Oh, yes.
He had a degree in ethnomusicology. His senior thesis was on Alban Berg's Wojciech and Debussy's Pelléas et Melisande, two crazy operas.
Yes.
Let me tell you. Walter Chrysler, founder of Chrysler Motor Corporation, was originally a railroad machinist, went to work for Buick for an enormous sum per month, equates to $230,000 today. Left to start Chrysler. Plymouth and DeSoto were part of that purchase, and he also purchased Dodge Brothers. Built the Chrysler Building in 1928 and finished in 1930. April 3rd, we're really running out of time.
Yeah, we've got Cat Forrest.
Yeah. Oh, and Cat Forrest, yes. Happy birthday. April 3rd, Marlon Brando, actor, eccentric, method actor in the extreme.
Hated acting.
Yep.
He hated working.
Ben Mendelsohn, actor, Rogue One. He did a fabulous part. Kobe Smulders, actor, Avengers movies, Agent Maria Hill. Doris Day, actress, famed for her roles with Rock Hudson.
The one who taught us how to park.
Is actually the Doris Day Show. And the reason we say she taught us how to park, every single movie she was in, she rolled up to the front of whatever
even in her
store.
own show.
Rolled up to the front of wherever she was supposed to go.
There was an open spot.
It's called Doris Day Parking. So many cameo roles on TV. K. Sarah died last year at 97.
Wow.
Yep, in May. David Hyde Pierce, actor, out gay man, Niles on Frasier, went to New York City to be on Broadway and now lives in L.A. with his partner and their 3 dogs. Iron Eyes Cody, actor, Italian-American actor who typically played Native Americans, most notable as Iron Eyes in Bob Hope's Paleface, and known as the Crying Indian from a public service announcement for the Keep America Beautiful campaign. He is interred at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
Yes, he is. We've seen it.
April 4th, Robert Downey Jr. Suffered from drug addiction. He was introduced to drugs by his father.
Of course.
Clean and sober in 2003. Started to rebuild his career.
He's now hotter than ever.
And the rest
He's
is
one of the
history.
highest paying actors in the business today.
Then we have
Maya
Angelou, poet, inaugural recitation at Clinton's first inauguration. It was the first poet since Robert Frost at Kennedy's inauguration. Civil rights activist, writers of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Let's see, Hugo Weaving, actor, Priscilla, Matrix, Lord of the Rings, Elrond. Graham Norton, presenter, out gay man. Graham Norton Show. Oh my gosh, what a scream.
I love it.
Anthony Perkins, actor, psycho, closeted man.
Closeted gay man, sadly.
He was married, died of AIDS in 1992. Kenneth Mars, lots of voiceover. He was Triton in The Little Mermaid. And What's Up, Doc, Young Frankenstein, the producers. Elmer Bernstein, film composer, Magnificent Seven, National Geographic Explorer, pre-Johnny Williams TV composer.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Lots of TV. April 5th, let's see. We have, Gregory Peck, actor. Betty Davis, actress. Old Hollywood, whatever happened to Baby Jane. Death on the Nile, where she says, "You just go." Oh no, it was Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith
says to her, "Fire me. You just go ahead and fire me." She began to, at some point in her career, play herself. Booker T. Washington, civil rights activist before it was called that. Last generations of black leaders to be born in slavery. Between 1890 and 1950, his death, was the dominant leader of African-American community. Albert Broccoli, producer, James Bond producer, and he also did Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh.
Frank Gorshin.
The Riddler.
The Riddler. Talk about this actor. He was also Bell in the original series, Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. He was also on CSI. Roger Corman, director, producer, king of the B movies. He produced 415 films. He is still producing at the age of 94.
The man can't stop.
Yep. And he's had some hits, too. Little Shop of Horrors and Silence of the Lambs. And then Herbert von Karajan.
Oh, wow.
Famed conductor. Your mother kind of has a story about him. And that's it for the birthdays this time. Oh, my gosh. We are running out of time. Well, okay. Meant to hit something else, but we're going to hit this.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counselors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
I think we're just going to get to our end show shout-outs, and we'll play another PSA, and then we'll be off because we are just out of time.
We are out of time. So, got to get some shout-outs to you. First, the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News for republishing our content from time to time. It is put up by the human Arkle, Brian Weber, one of our most loyal listeners, and we love him for that. And you can find the Post-Dispatch News by finding him on Twitter. Do that by searching for Arkle, at ARKLE. And he also has the Shameless Cash Grab. He's in season 4, and he's been doing episode 2, Streets of Blood.
Actually, he just posted episode 3, The Killing Machine.
Oh, The Killing Machine.
Yep, he, posted it this week.
Okay.
Yep.
And you can find him by going to youtube.com/Arkle Studios. And we have to give some Facebook groups a couple of shout outs. First, to Gay Geeks After Hours for allowing us to share our content there. Their URL on Facebook is facebook.com/groups/Gay Geeks After Hours. And then to The Gay Geek for also allowing us to share our stuff on their page, and their URL is facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek. And as always, special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thank you, Jeremiah. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. We apologize for not doing the feedback. We talked a little too long about Picard, but we'll get to some of that stuff next time. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page. And remember, you can find us and comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. Be sure to listen to us on Tuesdays between at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific time on Krypton Radio. From TG Squared Studios, I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and those around you. Peace.
Cheers.